Welcome back to another episode of Unhinged Bookish Thoughts with Carrie and Liz. Today we're going to be talking about starting a bookstagram, why we started, how we started, all the tips and tricks we can think of. Join along with us as we talk about our journey. So I started my Instagram a year ago in February. So February of 2023. You've been on much longer though.
Yeah. I started loosely. I started in 2014. It did
Mhm.
not, it doesn't look, Bookstagram was not what it is now back then.
No.
It wasn't.
No.
Definitely was not. It was like a free-for-all posting. Arcs were like very limited. We didn't have a NetGalley back then or Masterless. So I like to say that I like really started in March of last year, or like
Okay.
February, March of last year again.
Mhm.
But I've been here a while. I still talk to people from when I started in 2015 that
Back
are
in the
still
day.
here. Back in my day.
Back in the day.
Yeah. So I've seen the seasons change a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you've got to witness it pretty much like the development of Bookstagram and Book Talk including. So it's funny how different our experiences are because like you've been here forever. Like you can remember back in the day when like it wasn't what it is now. Versus me, and I'm like, you've also been reading a little longer than I have. And then you're like me, who's like, I started reading in 2022 and then decided on a whim in 23 to just start a book account. So
yeah, I'm showing my age a little bit, but I'm a
like
youngin.
10 years older than you.
I know, I'm a youngin when I say that. I started my page because I was a lonely, like, kind of college dropout, and I wanted friends. I craved not to be lonely, but to have that in real life, I was like, I do not want to have real life connections. I want to have strictly social media connections. I'm an introvert, guys. This is wild that you see this version, but that is my point. Like, I love posting and doing this page because I feel like my most, like, authentic self.
Yeah.
But I don't have to give you all of me. You know? Does that make sense?
That totally 100% agree. 100% agree.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I don't post on like any other social media anymore. Mainly it's just my Bookstagram. I'm about to close down my private Instagram, and I've debated doing my private Facebook too because like I don't need them, honestly. I'm never on there. I only get on there to like look for books.
I deleted my personal Instagram, and I'll put it right out there. I will block anybody in my personal life that will find my book talk or my Bookstagram, because again, I'm not kidding when I'm saying protect my peace. This is my space. The last thing I need is someone in my personal life judging me for having fun with what I do here.
Yes.
Having this space
is my space. Like, not MySpace, but my space.
Throw it back.
Throw it way back.
Throw back to Cassie the other day in your ARC chat. She was like going off on that.
Well, because I think we're like the oldest ones in the chat. So I'm like, yeah, y'all are like 19, 20.
I'm approaching my 30s. It's okay. I still got a couple years.
I started my Instagram when I was 33, so... No, 33? Yeah, it's right before my 34th birthday. So...
Yeah.
Old. I'm like, I love the posts that are like, am I too old to be here? And I'm like, are people weighing in? Because I'd like to know. Am I too old for this?
Was there something... Speaking of, is there something that sparked your start? Because I know vividly what it was that sparked me to start my page. I even know down to the person that got me to start.
Full transparency, I looked at my spouse and tried to talk to them about books, and they just completely ignored me. I was like, I don't care. And I'm like, well, I'm going to find people who do care.
Boom. There you go.
I was like, I'm going to make one.
I like it. I was on my personal Instagram, and it came across my feed, or the explore page. Her name is Elizabeth. she's actually been going through some stuff in her life, so I actually do want to just give her a little love. She's been going through it. But I saw her post about books and I was like, holy fuck, do people do this? Like, is
Yeah.
this what's happening? And after that, I started, and then I actually became friends with her. I'm still, we still chat. And it was amazing. That's how it started. I still follow all of my original crew.
Mm-hmm.
And it's great. I love it. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah. It was because I started reading in 2022 as a challenge. So many people know one of my best friends in real life, her name is Ariel. And then one of my other best friends, they were both very avid readers, very different type of readers, but one's a nonfiction, one is a fan fiction. Very different type of readers, but they both are huge Harry Potter fans. So my goal was to start reading stuff that's like easier to read and then go on to read other things and then like just see where it goes. See if I can actually commit, because I've tried reading as like youth and it didn't work. Like I don't have the ability to sit down and like read a book. I tried reading Harry Potter. I mean, it's behind me. I tried reading that when it first came out. Yes, I am that old. When Harry Potter originally came out, I tried reading it, could not read it. I think I made it halfway through the first book and just stopped. I've read a handful of books, I would say, since I can remember. I had a stint in college that I read the Divergent series. I always vividly remember this. I read the Divergent series. This was like stuffing my toe into fantasy. The Hunger Games series, and then another series called Matched, I do believe. I just remember the first book is called Matched. And then I just stopped. I could never stick with it. I just stopped reading them. I have thrillers and stuff I've read over the years too. That was mainly the stuff that I read, but nothing ever consistent. And then 22, I was like, you know what? It was like April, May. I'm like, I'm gonna start reading. And one of my coworkers, she's like, I really want to start reading. I was like, me too. You will not believe the first book I read getting back into reading. It is not something that you would expect me to read.
What?
The first two books I read were Where the Crawdads Sing.
Okay.
Wouldn't expect that. And then Verity by Colleen Hoover.
Oh shit! Yeah, I went through that phase too.
I read two of her books and
I went through the phase.
And then I separated them.
So when I started, I read the Iron Face series is what started it all for me. But I think I was like 14 or 15 at the time. And then I'd always loved reading. But I started when 50 Shades of Grey was blowing up the world. When that was the spiciest, sauciest thing out there. That and like Colleen Hoover. That's where I was. I was I have like a whole shelf of 50 Shades of Grey. Like, it's a whole fucking thing, man. But that's when I came onto the scene, was like that. All I was following was 50 Shades of Grey fan pages, and like, I was a contemporary romance girly. That a lot's changed. Clearly, a lot's changed. I evolved a little bit. But when I was there, this kind of segues into it, but engagement groups and stuff was never a thing. Like the follow for follow, like you did it, but it wasn't like you made a post about it. It was just happening. The algorithm was kind of none of us knew what was happening and we didn't really care. But like I like to say, I kind of started my page in March, like taking it seriously. I had no fucking clue what I was doing when I started. Last year. Yeah. Okay. A year ago. Yep. When I came back, because COVID happened, that kind of thing, I kind of fell off this page. But when I came back,
just fell off the earth. It's fine.
100%. I think we all just fell. I came back and I started posting, and I only got like 5 or 6 likes, and it was like that for easily 2-3 months. I didn't have really anybody to talk to. I kind of was talking to the people that I originally started with, but at that point, I hadn't spoken to my original crew in forever, that it just kind of felt a little weird to hop back in. But then I found engagement groups, and we can both kind of talk about those, because we're going to try and give some advice as much as we can if you're looking to start or to like branch out and find people. But please be mindful that everything that we talk about, take in moderation, and what you can bring on. Everything that we're going to talk about, we've gone through some shit with.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, with that being said, this is kind of what we did. Take some of this advice as best as you can. But
Take
with
it with a shot
engagement
of
groups,
tequila and a lick of salt, okay?
yeah, there you go. With engagement groups, they're really nice if you kind of want to jumpstart into it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Kind of get into it.
And the same thing goes for
I
trains.
Yeah, but in moderation, because
Yes.
they help, but they don't. They can help you connect to maybe find a group of people to enjoy,
Yeah.
but they do
Yeah.
also, in a way, kind of work against you. So,
Mhm.
I don't know. For
I
me,
definitely would agree with it.
I went from, I think I had dabbled in 1 or 2, then I got up to 15, and now I'm only down to 1, if that says
Mhm.
anything. And you have a very similar,
Mine was exactly the same. Yeah. I
yeah.
think when I first started, I was in, and let's preface this with the algorithm and Instagram is not the same beast it was last year that it is this year. It has
Mhm.
changed significantly over the last year. Even, I mean, I started in February of last year to this February, completely different monster in itself. So
Mhm.
when I started, I did a lot of trains. I did a lot of follow for follows. I hadn't specifically started in engagement groups until after I lost my account and I got it back. And that's when I started engagement groups. I have met some amazing people through them. I mean, Tally, one of the engagement
Mhm.
groups I've started on, and like follow trades and stuff like that. I met so Tally, Claire, Renee, and Michelle. I met all of them through an engagement
Mhm.
group and that way. So, and I think
Yeah.
even first meeting like you and Cassie and Mackenzie and Brianna, all of them have come from like the initial start to my account where I was in engagement groups and trains and post follows and engagement stuff like that. So you can
Mhm.
meet like great people, but
Yes.
you can also find a lot of people who you don't share a mutual book interest with, like to the extreme. Not so much like, yeah, it's great to have people who read different books than you, but if you are not going to read at all the same books, if you have no interest in the same books,
Mhm.
or they're posting content, easily put, that you do not agree with at all,
Mhm.
not gonna, you don't have to follow them. Like,
Right.
personally, there's a lot of accounts that I have like restrictions on that I don't follow, and if they do follow me, I typically don't follow back and remove their follow because my content is not for them.
Right.
I
Yeah.
know they're not going to like some of the things I post because
Mhm.
I post some things that will definitely go against the things that are on their page. And so
Mhm.
it goes back to like keeping your own peace. There are things that while you're trying to build up, it's
Yeah.
going to be a little bit rough. It could be bumpy road at the start of it.
Mhm.
And who knows, it could be really smooth for you. It goes differently. But
Yeah.
be mindful of it. Be mindful of
Yes.
what you're doing and the effort that you're putting into it.
It's definitely trial and error. Like for us, it's
Mm-hmm.
still like we still really don't fucking know what we're doing.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Um,
Sure.
I would just recommend that if you're gonna get into an engagement group,
Mm-hmm.
kind of read what their rules are, ask questions like what's the expectation, that kind of thing, so you can meet those and kind of stay in line with the rules. And for trains, the most important thing I can say about trains is don't just do them just to do them. I would really look at who's putting them on and like
Mm-hmm.
what the requirements are. Because some of them will even say follow the accounts you're comfortable with, and those are the ones that I normally recommend getting into.
Mm-hmm.
Because then you kind of have the discretion to remove someone's follow if they follow you. You have the discretion to do what you want to do. So that way you can still like manage your feed while also kind
Mm-hmm.
of growing. Does that make
Yep.
sense?
Yeah.
That was
Versus the
never something
ones that are like you have to follow everybody. If they follow
you
you, you
have to
have to
follow
follow them
everybody.
back. Yes. I would not
Correct.
suggest
Yeah.
those.
Because like you said, we post things that aren't maybe for everybody. Like I
Mm-hmm.
used to do every single train that I found because I was like, I have to grow, I have to grow.
Yeah.
And I
Yep.
was never like really looking at it. And now I'm in a place where there were a lot of like children authors like children book authors following me,
Mhm.
and I know that I am not their demographic. And I also know that my shit is not for them.
Not for
So
them.
I do remove my follow and remove them because I'm doing it for both of us. You know what I mean?
Yes.
My one
Yes.
follow is not enough for you to have to see some of the things I post, you know?
No, no, it's
Um,
not. And I've done that. And I'll just blatantly say it. I've had there at one point I was getting a multitude of either Christian authors or like Christian readers. And this is
mhm,
not like a dig on any of that. However, I post content that if you, a lot of these were like devout Christians, devout in their faith, devout in their religion, however you want to word it. The things I
mhm,
post go against that. I write very spicy books. I write very dirty things. I read very dirty things while I also read other
mhm.
stuff. Not quite the content for them. And so I
Right.
would rather keep both of our peace and just remove that. I will just go ahead and unfollow them if I've accidentally followed them or remove their follow because
Yeah.
they're not going to want to see what I'm posting at all because
Yeah.
I I post filthy things. I know
Mhm.
this. I post quotes from my book about taking it like a good girl, okay? I understand that.
It's like yeah. It's spatial awareness and knowing your audience and
Yes.
kind of respecting that in a way. Like, I was in a
Mhm.
comment pod once, and there was a situation where this this person was not
No.
into what I was doing, and she never
No.
once said that, never.
Mm-mm.
And she was commenting, but I knew she didn't like it, and I just was like, "You know what? I need to find comment pods that are in from engagement groups of people that like the things that I like." So
Mhm.
that's our tip.
Or even
Do
like
some research, you know?
people like we're in a comment pod now together of mutual friends, which is like
Yeah,
my
it's really
favorite
fun.
comment pod. I love it because there are people because you and I've thought about starting another one with like other friends, like a secondary group, right? Because I have like I feel like different group friendships, right? Um,
Mhm.
but that helps you see their content because a lot of the time IG
Yeah,
algorithm will like push their content away from you and you won't see a lot of your friends. Like I know for a fact I do not see all of my followers post. First off, I don't think I
right.
possibly could. But even like my mutuals that I like love their content, I haven't been seeing it because that's just how the algorithm works. And so
Mhm.
having that comment pod with mutual friends that I want to see their post, it's
Mhm.
so nice because I can be like, "Oh, I can go in and I can just comment on these." Like, "Oh, I can make sure I don't
Right.
miss one of Tally's posts in a day. I'm not going to miss one of your posts in a day or Latasha's, stuff
Mhm.
like that." I know I can go in there and see them and interact with them in a very authentic way, and
Yes,
it's just so nice. I love it.
I agree. It's one of those comment pods, it's the first comment pod I've been in, and I was like, "I just like this. Like,
Yeah.
this doesn't feel like a chore. I
No.
just get to support my friends," you know?
Yes.
So those are engagement groups and trains. I think ARCs is a good thing to talk about for people that
Yeah.
are getting into the book world.
Mhm.
There's several options now. Like I said, there weren't really options for ARCs back when I first started in 2014. It was very much like Facebook. You saw
Yeah.
the author post on Facebook, hey, if you want an ARC, you've got to do this. But now you've got like NetGalley, you have master lists that you can apply through like book
PR
marketing websites, that kind
companies,
of thing.
the nerd
Yeah.
fam, stuff like that. Yeah.
And then you'll still see authors post like forums and stuff like that. And the only thing that, we really recommend on this one is to make sure you're managing your arcs. If you apply for a
Yes.
bunch, you might be shocked that you will get them all. Like, I'm not saying you'll get
Especially with
approved for
NetGalley.
everything. Yeah, but
Yeah.
odds are you will get approved for a lot. So make sure that you
Mhm.
can manage how much you're taking on because it's a lot. And you said this in our burnout episode, especially if it's an indie author, make sure you have the time and energy to really give that arc, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And arcs are great ways to connect with people because Jordan is how I met Jordan through a Holly Renee arc.
Mhm.
So that's just arcs are another great way of, interacting with people and stuff like that.
Because you find that people
Same,
who like mutual books too, right? Like you
right. Yeah.
usually get pulled into like art conversations or like just posting in general with them. And so you meet the people. Holly Renee, you love the book. You have an entire group of people
Mhm.
who also love the book. And so you can make those mutual connections there too.
Yeah. And those are the exciting moments and like the moments to hold on to is that first time you get an arc from an author that you
Hmm.
love, that kind of thing. Let those serve as reminders of why you started in the first place if you're going to start
Hmm.
doing it. And alpha and beta reading, if you are starting your page to maybe get into that, my only recommendation is or not even a recommendation. My word of wisdom, I guess, is those are a lot of work.
Yeah.
Okay? Like, and
Yes.
you need to be prepared to help the author in a constructive way, an emotional way, that kind of
Hmm.
thing. Don't just do it for the sake of saying you got to be a part of a project.
Yes. I will also say that understand what type of reader they're looking for as from an author perspective. So if I am looking for alpha or beta readers, what is my intent with them? And so
Mhm.
the expectations are set right away because every indie author uses alpha and beta readers specifically differently. And
Mhm.
so I know for me, especially with book one, book two is going to be very similar, but book one, I used alphas, and every single one of you read with me as I wrote it, helped with little tweaks here and there, verbiage, plot holes if they popped up, kind of descriptions. And then my betas were more of like a check. And I think that is still going to remain for book two, but it will adjust a little bit. However, I
Yeah.
know going into it, the expectations I want out of my alphas, out of my betas. And so
Yeah.
even ARC readers, what I'm expecting from them. So advice on signing up for any of that is just making sure the clear expectations for you from the author and what that exchange is going to look like. So are
Yeah.
they expecting a certain timeline? Are they expecting certain number of posts, especially on our street team? Are they expecting, where are you supposed to be posting? Especially if you're doing an arc for them, where are you supposed to post? If you're doing alpha beta reading, where are you reading this? What kind of things are they wanting you to look for? Are there areas that they're having problems with? Or is it more of just like, give me the overall vibe that you're getting? Like, would you read this?
Yes.
So it's very
Mhm.
much like go into it, understand, start that conversation, start that communication with them, and just making sure that you know what you need to do and if you have the time and the energy to do it.
Yes. Yep. It's really fun and exciting to be in this, to arc read, to alpha, to beta, but I mean, with alpha and beta reading, it's you have to make sure that you are in it to win it. You know what I mean? It's
Hmm.
not just a free little book that you get to read in advance. You're actually like really trying to help people for
Yes.
however they need it. Because the last few beta reads I've done, I've just been where I'm
Hmm.
not so much like digging in deep. It's very much vibe checks and like supporting the author. But it's
Hmm.
not always like that. So
No, because
every
there are
situation is
some
different.
indie authors that use beta readers as editors that will,
Yeah.
and that's not like a dig to any indie authors, please don't think that way.
No. Use them how
It's
you
more of
need.
like
Yeah.
use them how you need. So especially if you're wanting to maybe like save money or you just want like a double check, like you're not comfortable with some verbiage or something, like your grammar isn't the best and you feel like there's sometimes that doesn't get caught through Grammarly, Word, whatever. A lot of indie authors, to help them like save money, whatever it is, don't feel comfortable with editors, can't find an editor, that's
Hmm.
another one, will use beta and alpha readers as
Hmm.
editors. So when you're committing to that, understanding like, no, I want you to find grammar mistakes. I want you to find plot holes. I want you to find this, and that. Having that expectation, and then again, being able to commit to it those are
Hmm.
definitely factors you got to look at.
Yeah. And just make sure, like, when you're filling out the forms, you're really reading it. Because usually those forms will tell you, this is the turnaround, this is what I need. So don't just
Hmm.
fill out the form for the sake of getting approved and getting, make sure you're,
Yeah,
like, really taking it on.
committing
Because
to it.
yeah. And I am not shy to say that there have been arcs that I've, like, missed deadlines, and I'm not proud of that. But I am very self-aware that I need to set boundaries for myself,
Hmm.
and don't be scared to do that. FOMO is real, but we're not going to always get every single arc, and we're not going to be a
Yes.
part of every. So take it in strides.
I think that
Um,
also adds with like when you do get an arc that you're like really super excited about and you get to have
Mhm.
that interaction with the author, like just enjoy that. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
oh, I missed out on these other ones. Okay, that's fine. But like you got another one that you're looking forward to. So
Mhm.
be excited about it. Let that bring you joy. Like, don't fester on the what ifs or what you didn't get. Go be happy with what you. I hate that sounds so mean, but like just be joyful with like, oh, there's this other author that I got, and so I'm gonna go, support them and have the time for it. And I can
Right.
focus my energy on that. Like, oh, I didn't get the 3 arcs that I was wanting, but I got one of the other arcs that I was wanting. So I'm gonna
Right.
be happy with that and like dive into it and just gobble up that arc that I have.
Yeah. And know that when we're saying this, it's easy for us to maybe say it now, but we were also the type of people that would get bummed out. Or
Mhm.
I was, at least. Like, I have been someone that would get bummed out if I didn't get an arc. I would feel FOMO.
Yeah.
I
Hindsight is
compare myself a
2020.
lot. Yeah,
Mhm.
like, I felt all of those things. Now I'm just in a place of, like, maybe acceptance.
Yeah. Yeah.
That kind of thing. So,
Mhm.
not much to talk about on TikTok because none of us really know what
Yeah,
the fuck to do on TikTok.
I don't know how to do TikTok. I try, and I'm
I don't know.
realizing I have been told by people who have a bigger following or like have been able to build a following, get views and stuff, that it's a face app. Like you have to show your face. They don't want like all the other stuff. But there are people who like blow up with memes and stuff. You've had experience where like your meme videos have gone wild.
Pure luck. I don't show
I think
my
that's what
face.
it is.
Yeah, I think TikTok's definitely one of those ones where um they like it when you go live and have those lives and stuff like that. TikTok, I think, likes to push that, like, people that can do
Mhm.
that a lot more. Like you said, show your face, that kind of thing. So,
Mhm.
and really we don't have much in terms of, like, if you're trying to, like, bust out and be famous and stuff, we can't help you with that.
I can't help with that. If you can help us with
We
that,
cannot.
please.
Yeah, if you want to
But
help, but like help us, but I want like a manageable amount of famous, you know? Like, I'd be
yes.
pumped at like 10K and then that's it. Max me out
Nothing.
at 10K.
Nothing.
I don't need anything else after that. That's too scary. Um
Let's
but
talk
yeah,
about like the downside of it though, because with like going viral or
mhm.
having a bigger following, having more exposure, there is going to be negative people that come from that. There are going to be
Oh
negative
yeah.
comments. There's going to be just some nasty people, trolls coming out of the woodwork. And so protecting your peace and like it's fine to delete those comments.
Mhm.
Like mean, just horrific in your comments, delete them. Block them.
I have done that once. I had a TikTok and it was just people being kind of mean, like one or two. I know I'm sensitive. I know I can't handle that. So I just got rid of the whole TikTok because it was not worth it to me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you got to protect your peace. Don't be
Protect
scared to
it.
set boundaries. And also know that, like everything, there are ups and downs and there is drama.
Mm-hmm.
There is drama, and just to, always, we've talked about this in our last episode, find the people that make you happy, and if shit starts going down, bunker down with the people that you love, and
Yes.
it'll pass. It comes in
Find
strides, but
safety with them.
yeah.
We'll go into me going from a reader to a writer because that's,
Mm.
you'll see people who start their Instagram, start their book talk, because they have written a book and they want to get like push the media and stuff like that. Or you'll have like people like me who started on Bookstagram because I am a reader. And then I
Mhm.
just quickly turned into an author. I mean, that segue was very, very short. I started reading again in May, April, wherever it was, the springtime, and then started Instagram in February, lost my Instagram in March, thought Instagram got it back because they realized I wasn't a robot. And then I started writing a book in April, and I posted on my account in June that I was looking for alpha readers. That was very,
She's
very
all over the
quick.
place.
All over the place.
Yeah, it's been a journey.
It's been a journey. And it's weird to say that within the year that I started my Bookstagram, I published a book.
Mm-hmm.
because I did. I started
Yeah.
in beginning of February 2023, and I published a book at the end of February 2020.
Yeah.
Very short, but it's weird transitioning to that. So I'm not sure if there's people. I feel like it'd be easier if I started out as just an author and I never like had an account before.
Mm-hmm.
Because going from trying to balance being like a reader and an author is weird. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of people just go straight like one direction, but I like balance. I like being my authentic self. I could be my authentic self on my account, and I'm going to be my
Right.
authentic self. But feeling very awkward about posts, and this is like about post generation and stuff like that. Like, how do you create the content that you're going to be posting? I'm awkward with it. I don't want to talk about my book. People think I'm weird.
Yeah.
I'm going to be so awkward with it. But it's like, I don't know. It's such a weird. Half the time I forget that I even wrote a book. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I'm like, wait, I published that? But I'm reminded often because my kid knows what my book looks like and has like seen me publish this book in the last year. And so when I have posts and they have like, or there's posts that I've tagged in and like videos and stuff, they get very excited about it because they know that's mommy's book.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Especially like when I did the PR box tour. I was doing my stuff on them and they saw it and they're like, it's mommy's.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. That's me. So I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. I didn't have much of a bookstagram prior to switching over to like author, whatever you want to call it, authorship.
Yeah.
So, but I still try to balance it. I'd rather. I don't do reviews though. I have so many reviews from when I first started, and that was really like, because I thought in my mind, I'll start a bookstagram and I'll post reviews and I will be able to interact with people on those posts and like find easily people who share similar book interests as me. It's not really the case. Like, I'll look at my past, like the beginning posts, and I'm like, I have like no interaction with them. But these are like some books like I was very passionate about. Like the Mindfuck series. I absolutely love that series, but I read it towards the start of my bookstagram and I had like nobody to interact it with. So now I'm like, if I post it now, I'm sure I could get some interaction with it. But I'm like, that's what I wanted. I wanted to be able to talk about books. And really, is that why we're all here? We just want to talk about books. I'll just sprinkle my own book in there every now and then.
And your page can evolve too. Like, things that I was posting a year ago, I don't like those things anymore. So, like, don't be afraid to make change as you see fit to your page. I think everybody goes through that. So
yeah, and you don't have to delete everything. And I think that's one thing I've seen quite a few times now, actually, that people will like want to do a page transition and they will delete every post that they have on their Instagram. And I'm like, why? Like, do whatever you want, but also like that feels like more effort in my mind. So I would just transition. I've done that before. This rolls into like aesthetic. I had tried for the longest time to have an aesthetic, and I still try to have an aesthetic with my author post, but having an aesthetic does not bring me joy.
Yeah.
So I don't.
It can be stressful.
It's so stressful.
It can be very stressful to feel like you have to do certain things. If you thrive in that, do it. If you think that's what works, all of us are just doing what we can. There's not necessarily something that works and doesn't work. So just post what makes you happy and what you feel creative posting. If that is posting an aesthetically pleasing photo and having that be your feed, then amen. Do that.
If you want a grid, if that's how you want it, like it looks like a grid down your page, everything looks like cohesive. If that makes you happy, do it. I cannot do it. So this is also saying, like, if you can't do that, and you're like, that's what everyone's telling me is like, I have to have an aesthetic. I have to have this. You don't have to have anything.
No.
You can just do whatever you want. And the right people will find you.
Right.
It's not like if you post what you want, you're not going to get followers. Could it be slow? Yeah. I mean, overall, it's slow. I feel like it's sometimes like a trickle of water.
Right.
It is what it is.
it's hard. It's not easy.
No.
It's not, no. It's a very, and it can be very consuming. So
Mm-hmm.
like, just know that getting into the numbers and followers and stuff, it will
Mm-hmm.
probably happen. If it
Yeah,
doesn't happen, I
that's
hope
okay.
it doesn't. But it probably will happen. You will get
Mm-hmm.
obsessed with comparing and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's
It's
the hardest thing is
inevitable.
not comparing yourself to others. Like,
Yeah.
oh, they've only been on Bookstagram for 2 months and they have 10,000 followers. You know,
Mm-hmm.
this is not bashing Cassie at all. This is me like using her as a perfect example because she has no idea how she has gotten so many followers in such a short period of time. And I think
Mm-hmm.
it's because she's authentically herself. So she posts memes because
Mm-hmm.
that is Cassie. She has
Mm-hmm.
found her like niche, her niche in
Mm-hmm.
the environment, but it makes her so happy. Like
Yeah.
she has found what she loves to post, and people have flocked to her over it
Yeah.
because they love it. And I have truly enjoyed watching her. Like she started about the same time I did on Instagram, Bookstagram, same with you. And we have seen her just blow up on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I love it. Like, am I
Yeah.
jealous? Yes, absolutely. I wish I could just post a video that gets 1,000,000 views, whatever. But I know like it's not necessarily going to happen. And she has talked about like the downside of some of these posts. Like she will post memes and she's very open about like, I don't make these memes. We do occasionally, our collabs, we usually make them.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the time we'll just gather them from other places. And there are
Mm-hmm.
people who are like, you're stealing other people's content. And it's like, these are on the internet. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if there's a username on it, well, and so she has had backlash sometimes on some posts.
Yeah.
Even like oh my gosh, this SJM fandom has been, they can be very toxic sometimes. And she has,
Mm-hmm.
on occasion, received some of that backlash from them. And so it comes getting a bigger following.
Mm-hmm.
While yes, it's nice, it does have its downsets. So
Yeah.
know that it is about balance. Posting what you want will let you get the followers that you want, but also know like people are going to try to impede in your energy, so just don't let them do that.
This episode
And
is just going to be called Protecting Your Peace.
protecting your peace. Don't
Setting
compare yourself to
boundaries.
others.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing. It's like, it's so hard though, right? Like you see other accounts and you're
Yeah.
like, man, I really wish like I could just get it together and post like they do. Or,
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it is. Like, why
Right.
can't I just do that? And it's like, well, it's because it just doesn't work for me. It just doesn't work for me. And
Right.
I think that's, you said, boundaries. Having boundaries
Mm-hmm.
and like understanding yourself. I didn't know that when I first started. So, like, if I could look back at myself a year ago and be like, what would I want to tell you? Just do what makes you happy. Like,
Yes.
stop trying to chase the trends. Stop trying to like get all the arcs and like post them because you think for some reason that's going to help you like grow as a following. Don't keep doing all these trains and like getting this follower account that really like isn't very authentic and isn't going to be
Mm-hmm.
people who want to stick around for the process. So just do you. Don't try to
Yeah.
be somebody else. Just be you.
Yeah.
It's a safe space. Be you.
Yes. There's room for all of us here. Everybody.
Except if you're going to be an asshole.
yeah.
We don't want that.
Yeah, and also if you're using engagement and trains, don't be embarrassed about using them.
Yeah.
Because that was always something that I felt I was like, God, I can't do this authentically. I have to use these.
Who cares?
You meet good people. Like I said,
Yeah.
like you said at the beginning, you meet good people. We gotta do what we gotta do. So don't be embarrassed about using those things anyway. Just make sure you're
Yeah.
doing it with moderation.
I think one of the big things is not following the hype. So you will find on Instagram and TikTok that there are books that get a lot of hype and they may not be for you. So if you feel I have to read this book because it's like what's popular and I've got to put a review up on it or like put an aesthetic post up for it, it's not really your type, don't read it.
Right.
Don't read it.
I would say, in terms of like hype and that kind of thing, if you don't like something, because fandoms can be really intense, I would just say if you don't mesh with something, you can post about it, go for it, that kind of thing. Do your
But
thing.
don't
Don't
tag
be scared
authors in negative reviews. Don't do that.
that's something we need to not do. I just personally, because I know I'm fucking sensitive and I can't handle if I don't like something, like a big release or something, I just don't post about it. That's how
Yeah.
I just don't post about it. And I
And don't feel
just,
like you have to post it. You know what I mean? Like, I
yeah,
feel like there's some people out there who are like, I didn't like this book, and I need everybody to know that this book is terrible, and I'm going to tell everyone. I'm going to comment on every post that has this book. You don't need to do that. No, just don't
yeah,
post it. Ignore it. Just pretend like you didn't read it.
yeah.
I have done that several times.
And just because it's hyped, you don't have to hate it to like be
No, like
cool or like fun and
perfect
different.
example is like, let's use Sarah J. Maas, like just hating on Tower of Dawn. That
Yeah.
is, I feel like, such a like
Under,
popular thing to do. People are like, "Oh,
yeah,
I hate Tower of Dawn. I'm just gonna skip it."
no, underrated
No,
book.
yeah,
Yeah,
but don't
great,
follow that
great
hype.
story.
Like, or even like
Yeah.
tandem reading. There's a lot of people who are like, "You have to tandem read Tower
Mm-hmm.
of Dawn and Empire." You don't have to do anything. If it's
You
not for
don't.
you, don't do it. It's the same. Like,
Right.
there are plenty. Like, I know there are some hype books out there that I will not read.
Mm-hmm.
Hunting Adeline, I will not read those books because
Mm-hmm.
one, I've had people who have read them that I trust their opinion on, and it's not for me. It's not for me.
No.
I have read all of the From Blood and Ash series. I didn't like it by the end of it. Am I going to go post that all over the internet? No. Am I going to continue the series? Also, no. But like, that's
Right.
me. I don't have to, like, even though I see so many posts about all of these books and people are like so excited about it, I'm like, it's not for me. So I am not going to
Mm-hmm.
put my energy into that or anything. Like, I'm just going to let it go.
Yeah.
Scroll on by.
And that's the beauty. If you're just starting out and you know what you want to see and what you like,
Mm-hmm.
like just search for those things and
Mm-hmm.
don't force yourself into something if it's big or happening right now. You don't have to do that.
Like, if you
It
don't read
just,
spicy books and all the books that are being hyped right now are spicy, don't read them. Or if you want to
yeah.
read them to understand what's going on, you can do closed door modification. You don't have to read that. But
Right.
also don't feel like you have to. Like, I think
Yeah.
Fourth Wing is a great example. Yes, there are a lot of people who have read it and it's like transitioned them into, even they've been transition books into fantasy. A gate book, right? A gateway book. However, the content within them is not for everyone. If you are not a
Mm-hmm.
fantasy reader and you start reading and you're like, this just isn't for me, don't read it. There's
Right.
nothing wrong with that. You can DNF
Yeah.
books. If they're not for you, DNF them. And don't feel like you have to justify why you do not like a book. You can just not like a book.
And if all of your page is like super spicy stuff, the community is pretty good on communicating. So you can always just comment and be like, hey, this sounds great, but do you have any recommendations of something that's like more YA or new adult or something like that? People will help you out. People have
Yes.
recommendations locked and loaded. You know what I mean? So,
Always. Like, if you come to
yeah.
me and are like, and this just comes with experience, with more reading, I read across genres. I have a ton of people who read a different style of books than me. I know what I like. I know what I don't like. But if you come to me and you're like, I'm in a reading slump, I'm like, all right, what are you feeling? What will make you like feel better? I have a whole list of things that I can give
Mm-hmm.
you. Do you need absolutely unhinged smut with no plot whatsoever? I got you. I got you.
She's
Do you
got
need a
it.
feel good vibe where you're just like, I feel like I'm being hugged? I just need some love, something that will make me cry. I got you. I got you.
Yeah.
Anything you want. Do I want to be scared out of my wits? That will bring me out of it. I got you. But that just, you can just comment. There are so many people out there among the community that
Mm-hmm.
if you need help or if you're like wanting something, like let's say they post a book and you're just like, I'm not, like, I like these elements of this book,
Mm-hmm.
but I can't find something that has this element in this style. Do you have a recommendation? If you comment that they don't have a recommendation, they could find something that has a recommendation. Or somebody else who's in that comment section could have a recommendation
Will
and
help
give it
you.
to you. They
Yep.
will help you. And so it's
Yep.
not, you're not alone. You don't have
Nope.
to, like, where am I going to get all, like, people, I feel like, especially when I started, I'm like, where do people get all these book recs? Like, I keep seeing all these posts, like, I can't keep track of all the books on Instagram and TikTok. I can't keep track of them all. You don't have to. Just read what you want. Like,
Yeah.
that's it. Just read what you want.
Hop on that Kindle, scroll that Kindle Unlimited, and go for
Kindle
it.
Unlimited. Kindle Unlimited.
Kindle Unlimited.
All the time.
Just do it.
Or
and
your library.
and also just know,
Mhm.
like, you're not stuck in a box. If right
No.
now all you're reading is spicy, that could be temporary and you might move. Because
Mhm.
I always was like, I'm a spice reader through and through, but I've been reading some YA lately and
Mhm.
really loving it. So
I love YA.
oh my god,
You wouldn't know it. You wouldn't know by what I write and like some of the stuff that people like. I love Ice Planet Barbarians. Yes, I've read 6 books. I devoured 6 books in like
so
a week.
good.
It's so good. It shouldn't be that good, okay? But also I love things like Divine Rivals and Ruthless Vows. I love like just feel good cozy. I love like Legends and Lattes. Great book. Absolutely love it. I love The House on the Cerulean Sea. Love it. Okay? Fantastic books. I will recommend them to everybody. But I also will read the most unhinged things. I also will read thrillers. I love thrillers. I read
mellow.
Yeah, I read the 3 spicy Easter books I read in one day that I made Ariel read with me.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Shout out to Ariel. She's amazing.
And that's like the thing is if you find we read Unhinged, right? Unhinged, the door book. And it's like if you find stuff like that and that's something you want to read, just read it. Just read it.
Yeah.
Just read it.
Yes.
Don't feel like if you want to read it, read it. If you don't want to read it, don't read it. I was talking about all the books that I like that were like younger, and I looked up and I saw Lore, which is a YA Greek mythology retelling, and I'm like, that one right there. Love that book. Would you also like the shelf below it? It says Smut Queen on it, and it's all books from probably Smut. So, you just read whatever you want. Whatever. I'm a mood reader. I follow everything.
It's okay to be a mood reader and not have the energy. It's okay to DNF. I'm not good at that. I'm learning how to be.
Yeah.
But just take it in strides and have fun with it, you guys. Just have fun with it.
Yes. And don't, like, you're going to see a lot of stuff as you go of people like pretty books. Okay. We all love pretty books. But not everyone can afford having, a Fairy Loot subscription, a Luma Crate subscription, all of these different things. Don't feel like you have to do them. Because I feel like a lot of people get FOMO with them. Like, oh my God, I wish I had the money to buy that. Or like, I wish I could get access to that. I wish I could get on the subscription list. It's fine if you're not. It doesn't devalue you or your account in any way. It just is something different. You don't have to do that. Okay. It's always like I struggle with that for a long time. I'm like, man, I just wish like I could have this, and it's fine. It's fine. You don't need it. Perfectly fine.
We don't shame you on the pace you read, what you read. We're not going to shame you for the collection you have. No. It's all good. All good vibes. Respect each other. Respect each other.
Like how to make posts. I think that was the one thing that I struggled with when I first started was how do I even make a post? How do I make a review? There are so many different platforms that you can use. The wonderful thing about getting on Instagram is there's a ton of people who make templates that share them. Joanna, I want to say it's Joanna, not Joanne. It's Joanna and Cassie. And there's a couple more that have been doing more templates. And so they just share them. They're free to use. You just screenshot them off your phone. And then you can go into Canva and make it. Canva has a free subscription. Don't feel like you have to get Pro. I have Pro because of my author status. And so I got Pro so I could do more things with it. And the same is with CapCut. I have it because I needed to do specific things for author stuff. And so I upgraded. Don't feel like you have to. Free is just fine. So you can easily just go into Canva, just make a free account on Canva. They have a million templates. Just search what you want I mean, for our burnout episode, I
Mhm.
just searched burnout and there's a ton of templates. And they have every kind of template. Like you can do videos, stories, posts. You can either do portrait or like the square format. You can do Facebook stuff. Just
Mhm.
anything you can think of. Just go in there and they can find it for you.
That's like the only thing I use is Canva to make stuff. And then for TikTok, they have some templates already pre-made on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then also if you get on TikTok, if you want to get into reels, like you do some really cool like book transitions and
Transitions.
stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
They have tutorials all over
That's how I learned
on
how to do them.
TikTok. Yeah.
I searched book transitions and it pops up.
Mhm. Yeah, no, there's tons of those are the main things. I just Google how to do something if I want to try and do it, or I just get on Canva. Those are
Mm-hmm.
the two things that I use.
Or if you have, like, let's say you want to try a book transition and you see a video that inspires you to want to do it, you can also reach out to that content creator, and more than likely, they're going to respond to you and tell you how they did it. And so,
Mhm.
like, if you would ask me, how did you do? I like doing the like snap my hand and a book appears kind of thing. I could easily tell you how to do it. I could even send you a screen recording or even walk you through how to do it, because like that's what we're here for. We're here to help each other. We're a
Yeah.
very inviting, warm community. And I don't gatekeep. A lot of us don't gatekeep. We don't want to be like, oh, well, that's just like my thing, so I'm not going to show you how to do it. No.
Mhm.
And if they do say that to you, go find somebody else.
Yeah. Odds are
Go find somebody else.
someone will help you. Yeah.
Somebody will help you.
Communication. It's beautiful. Communication's a beautiful thing. And if you're
Yeah.
shy, I get it. I'm shy too. There's an unsend option. If
There
you
is.
send a message and then want to back out, you can unsend it on it.
You can unsend it. You can unsend it. There's also,
Yeah,
if you're
don't.
in, go ahead. Don't feel like you can't
No,
send it.
that's
Yes.
okay. Yeah.
In CapCut too, though, there are templates. And so you see all the like memes and stuff all over TikTok. There's in CapCut, there's meme templates, there's aesthetic templates. You can, all the effects and stuff like that are in there. The majority of them are free. There's some that are not, that are pro. But a lot of the ones you see, especially if like you're scrolling, this is the biggest thing. If you're scrolling on TikTok and you see a reel that you like or like a video that you like, and there's at the bottom, it tells you that it was made in CapCut, you can actually click on the link and it will lead you to CapCut and show you what the template that they used. With that, if you can't use it right away, bookmark it. And then you can
Yeah.
go into your account later and find the ones that you've bookmarked, you favorited, and make your video from there. And so
Yep.
it's not like you have to
This-
constantly be like trying to come up with your own things. There are free resources that you can go on and just find it. There's also
Mhm.
like free, if you're looking for pictures and stuff like that, Pinterest is great for just aesthetic photos. You can literally find anything on it. There are several free websites for pictures as well, that a lot of authors use more so because copyright infringement, right? And so there's tons of like, you can just, if you just Google like free copyright pictures or like even videos, there's a whole slew of businesses and stuff that you
Yeah.
can find. Don't feel like you have to sign up for like any of like the big companies and get like, you don't need to sign up for Adobe Pictures or whatever it is. You
Right.
don't have to do that. Like
No.
Pinterest can be your friend. That's fine. No one's telling you that
Right.
you don't have to. So don't spend money if you don't have to.
Right. You can do a lot of things for free.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
We're still on the journey, so we don't even
Yeah.
know how to end this because we still don't know what the fuck we're doing.
No.
So it's the best advice we can give to people, though.
Yeah.
So
And I think it's very much like it is a learning experience, right? So
yeah.
you can learn, there's a ton of advice out there. There's going to be
Mhm.
so much advice. You're going to feel bombarded with it. Take it with a grain of salt, a shot of tequila again, because
Yeah.
not all of it's for you. There's sort of like videos that are like, oh, you got to let the intrusive thoughts win. And they're like, nope, that's not for us. That's not for us. The same thing goes for advice. Like you're going to have videos that are like,
Yeah.
this is how I gained 1,000 followers in 2 days. And that, nope,
Yeah.
that's not for you. It's not for you. Scroll.
Yeah.
It's not for you.
Exactly.
So just keep in mind that not every book is going to be for you. Not every book subscription is going to be for you. Not every advice is going to be for you. Not every template is going to be for you. Not every account is going to be for you. Find what works and go with that.
Exactly.
Like a rock.
I'm just the hype man. And anybody just listening, I've just gone completely quiet. They can't see that I'm hyping you up. So that is this episode of Unhinged Bookish Thoughts. And as always, read what you want and don't be a dick.
Yes,
All
yes,
right?
please.
And trust us, we're gonna try and get that on a shirt eventually.
Oh yeah, I'm working on it now.
We're trying.
Stickers at least. Yeah, we're definitely gonna get stickers too.